Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed, part 3 of the Q&A series. It's the Balin edition. You guys asked for this.
Yeah, apparently.
What
I don't know what they're wishing for, yeah.
No, it should be a lot of fun. Tim is back from his holiday now as we film this, but you got to give Tim some time to unwind. We can't just tell him to drive all the way over here for part 3 of the Q&A series.
Jet lag, right?
Yeah, jet lag and all that. So we got Balin in, something different. So before we get to it, today's sponsor spot is brought to you by Thermal Grizzly and their new Duranaut High Performance Thermal Paste. Duranaut offers extreme long-term stability combined with outstanding thermal conductivity, and this has been achieved through a specially engineered silicon oil combined with aluminium microparticles and zinc oxide nanoparticles of various shapes. Duranaut isn't electrically conductive and won't harden over time. For best performance, you'll want to apply a very thin layer, and to help with this, included is the TG Spatula Pro. The spatula's revised design allows for increased pressure during application, making it easy to spread a thin, even layer of Duranaut. So for more information, please check the link in the video description. All right, we're going to start with the sort of on-brand question here for you, so look sharp. It's a PC-related question.
Oh, no.
Well, it says, it's from my Discord. I know Balin isn't a massive hardware nerd, but he also plays PC games. Both of those things are true. And he has seen a lot of hardware over the last 4 years. What would he say are the most impressive components he's been able to use while working at Hardware Unboxed? Okay, so you have built your own PC and stuff and all that?
Yeah, we did the live stream a couple of years ago. So that was a 12900K and a 4090. So it was a pretty awesome system. But I've soon realized that it was getting pretty hot in my bedroom.
I do remember you complaining about that.
It was pretty hot. So
because it was was it a 3x2 meter room? It was because it wasn't a bedroom. It was like a little office.
Yeah, it was like a little office.
Was it
size.
3x3?
It was pretty small.
Yeah,
small room.
Yeah,
yeah, only probably a normal bedroom size, really. So it was a little room. It was getting very hot, especially throughout summer. It was pretty ridiculous, and I didn't have an AC or dedicated cooling in that room. So
when we'd game, I'd be in here in the studio under my huge AC, and Balin would be like, "It's so hot," and I'm like, "I know what you're talking about." Yeah,
it was crazy. Even at night, hours of gaming, it just got nice and hot. So after about 6 months,
you buckled.
Yeah, I caved and
came begging for more hardware.
Pretty much. I mean, this guy has a lot, right? So no, we changed over to a 7950 X3D. So when I crossed to AM5, that was awesome. Massive difference in the heat that the PC was putting out. Still getting the same performance, if not slightly better. So was really happy with that. And bit of editing here and there, doing a bit of that at home. I thought, we'll go the 16 core route, get the most benefit we could out of the 7950 X3D. So it was good. It was a good choice. I was happy with it.
So you're happy with that CPU. So that's probably the most impressive CPU you've personally used so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Other than probably the editing Threadrippers.
Yeah. Sort of different league.
Different
those
league.
Things. Yeah. Don't pick a $10,000 CPU off the bat. You'll start sounding like a YouTuber.
Yeah, true.
It's your first video. Calm down.
Yeah.
Now, it's technically probably your second or third because you've done some live streams.
Did the live stream.
How many have you done? 2?
2?
Yeah.
Or 1, maybe another one in the
background. I feel like you were fairly heavily present in one of them after your build, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway.
Can't remember. There's a lot of videos
You've done the live
around.
stuff, and that's way harder than what we're doing now, so you'll be right.
Yeah.
What about other, because you've done so much B-roll, and you have built PCs in the studio, and you've tested hardware to a degree, and we've tested it in the sense that you've installed it, set it up, used it. You haven't really benchmarked stuff, but you've done the kind of real world testing that a lot of people would do when they set it up, because you've had to update firmware for LED lighting to get it work, and so you've done a lot of troubleshooting and stuff like that behind the scenes that people probably don't realize over the 4 years, because you're often the first person to set a lot of stuff up for B-roll.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And when we're putting together just like all the basics for a test system, like all the fans and getting the case sorted,
palm that off.
Yeah, I palm that part off. Just but yeah, I mean, I unpackage and start working with a lot of the products straight up. I don't know. There's been a lot of cases, a lot of fans, I've dealt with a lot of motherboards now. Literally unpackaged and felt and handled a lot of motherboards. I think if we're going to talk about cases quickly, Be Quiet light base case right now is my favorite. It's amazing. You can invert it. you know, the RG. I'm an RGB guy. RGB all the way around. Looks really good.
And you are using it as well.
Yeah, currently using it. It's really awesome. So that's case. Motherboards, the Gigabyte Ice motherboards now are insane. They look really good.
So aesthetically, I mean, they are technically they're good products as well.
Well, yeah.
They're generally pretty good value as well.
Mm.
But I have to agree on that one. The Gigabyte Ice motherboards are very cool.
Yeah.
A lot of companies have attempted to do the white stuff, but then you get like the white black look, or it's just they're just not that clean. But the Ice boards, it's
like everything's white or silver, but you know, mostly white. Looks good.
And it just looks good as well. Like it's done in a really tasteful way, really clean, really neat. So yeah, I agree. They're probably the best looking motherboards. Whether they're in black or white, really, that sort of series, they're really good.
Yeah.
I think for me, probably the most impressive thing I've seen over the last few years is the quality of motherboards. I know people have complained about motherboards getting more expensive, and that's partly because of, you know, PCI Express 5.0 and DDR5 and all that stuff's been more expensive to implement. But I think the overall quality of motherboards, and I know there's some burning up issues and things like that in the background with certain brands, but I think overall, the more entry-level motherboards, while they have gotten more expensive, they have become substantially better. Like $100-ish motherboards, there used to be just that much garbage in that price range. And while there still is a lot of like, you know, the budget chipsets and all that sort of stuff, which you won't see too much of because we generally only cover, like, especially on the AMD side, like the X series and the B series. And a lot of the B series boards now are very good.
Yeah.
There's definitely plenty of options in the more entry-level range where, they're good VRM, good feature set. So that's good to see. It's tough because the 4 years you've been working for Hardware Unboxed, I would say haven't been the most exciting.
Yeah. Because I mean, the 40 series was pretty exciting initially. Like that was a big jump, well, for the 4090, but it wasn't the 30 series where that was just insane.
The 30 series was insane, but then it was ruined by cryptocurrency. So that kind of like spoilt that entire release. The 40 series had its sort of, it was pretty underwhelming for the most part. Like if you look at 4060, real bad.
Oh yeah, okay.
4060 Ti 8GB, really, really bad.
Yeah.
16GB card, reasonable, quite a good product, but start at $500 US. And then it got to $450 US for that.
Yeah.
It's real bad.
Yeah.
4070, probably one of the better products. I think it was $600 US MSRP. So still pretty expensive, 12GB of VRAM, but I think at the time, reasonable enough products. That was one of the better ones. 4070 Ti, I think it was $800, pretty bad value. And then the 4080 was like meant to be $1,000, but was really $1,200, which is heaps for that product. And then the 4090 was really the only one to get excited about, but then that was more expensive again.
I think, when I think about...
Because you have a 4090. Entitled YouTuber already.
I think when it comes down to exciting for me, it was like just, like I was still relatively new on the scene, and then seeing, I don't know, like there was a lot of hype around the 4090.
That's sort of the trouble with PC... PC hardware, gaming hardware, all that sort of stuff over the last 4 years. Because if money's, in a sense, no object, like you don't care about the budget, you just want to go buy the best of the best, it is exciting.
Yeah.
So if you go get a 5090, 9800X3D, high-end DDR5 memory on a really high-end motherboard, really nice case, one of your big whites or something like that with all your ARGB stuff, heap of fans, big all-in-one liquid cooler, you know, the high end. That is an awesome, exciting system that you can enjoy stuff like path tracing, which you probably do a bit of that in your single-player games. And what, you got an OLED monitor? What next? So you know what I mean? Like when you've got that sort of thing, you're sitting there going, what are you complaining about? It's awesome.
I do understand that for sure. I have a lot of friends who I guess they look at me and us, and they'll come over to my place and see a cool system. And I am completely aware how unrealistically obtainable that is. Like it's not normal. Like I get it. But I don't know, if I just compare like 4090 and 5090, there was more hype for 4090. So for me, since I've been here, that was like exciting generation compared to what's happening now.
No, I totally get it.
That's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I think it's really, there is a lot of exciting high-end hardware. It's just so damn expensive.
Yeah, too expensive.
And the more entry-level, budget-conscious stuff is usually releases at a higher price, super underwhelming. It does get discounted in some instances to become quite exciting or quite reasonable, but bit of the magic's lost when the first couple of months, whatever it is, it ends up being poor value. But yeah, for me, this is going to sound weird and people are definitely going to pull me up on it, but one of the more exciting releases over the last 4 years for me was Intel's B580, which might sound weird because most of our B580 content since release has sort of been negative because of the overhead issue and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But in terms of what Intel were able to do and the advancements they made in a relatively short period of time, I think the B580 was technically a good product, though technically some issues, but then wasn't $250 for the most part. Couldn't really get it. Availability poor. Yeah. So
it kind of mitigates all the good they did.
Yeah, which is, again, speaks more to what I'm talking about with this entry-level stuff. But in a technical sense, that's one of the more impressive things I've seen over the last few years. Haven't really got too many other GPUs or CPUs to speak of. Like, again, like 7800X3D, 9800X3D. Yeah, they're great. The 9800X3D didn't do that much over the 7800X3D. Also, pretty expensive part. But, yeah, is a good high-end CPU. Be happy to have it. Probably another one that I think has been extremely impressive and improved in value a lot is like OLED monitors.
Insane.
So what have I got? The Asus...
I'll do a Tim here.
Yeah, go.
It's Asus PG32UCDM.
Yep.
240 hertz.
4K, so, 4K.
240 hertz, 4K. Amazing monitor. I think Tim highly recommended it when it was released about a year ago.
So it's still like $2,500 Australian dollars. But
super overkill.
But there are really good value OLED monitors appearing now that are much more affordable. So I think that technology being as amazing as it is, and then filtering down to more affordable price points, I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So the monitor stuff's being cool in that sense. But yeah, I really don't have too many things that I can point to in terms of PC hardware, gaming hardware, that I can be like, this was super exciting, great product, highly recommend.
I think the most transformative addition to the PC space has been the OLED monitors coming down in price, like you said. The MSI range at the moment for their OLEDs is really good value. Tim recommends them a lot. But that just changes the whole way you experience gaming, especially if you're a single player guy.
Yeah.
He's Fortnite, so he doesn't really need it. But
the 240 hertz in Fortnite,
the 240 hertz,
really, really nice, really good, really clear.
Yep.
It's broken record stuff at this point in time. You know, a lot of people have been banging on about OLEDs for a long time now, but they're
more affordable now.
More affordable, and I think they're more practical than ever as well, with stuff like burn-in and that. I pretty well abuse mine, I'd say. I mean, I leave all the default features on there, but you know, I'll just leave it static on the Windows desktop or with Explorer open, sometimes walk away for multiple hours. And I do have a screensaver though, so that it probably doesn't come on as quick as it should. But anyway, I've had no issues.
I think Tim's up to nearly 18 months of intentionally burning.
He's intentionally abusing his, Yeah,
so he's just leaving it static open, split screen, desktop, taskbar, everything, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And obviously it's showing burn-in, but...
Which isn't great, but you're using it in a way that's abusing it.
That's
whereas
right.
I don't go out of my way to look after mine, but I do have some, safety features there, and it's fine.
Yep.
No dramas at all so far. So I think if you use it, and it's certainly very practical to use it in the way in which I'm using it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they are very practical now. All right, big question here. Potentially a lot rides on it. Balin, is it hard putting up with Tim and Steve? I like how they added Tim there. That does make me feel better about the situation. Be honest, this is a safe space.
Did you want to put earmuffs on? Or...
Yeah. I'll put my noise cancelling headphones on and just tune out for a bit.
What was the question? No.
Good answer.
Genuinely not as difficult as some might expect. I got to be honest. No, Steve works really hard. So obviously you want to, I don't know, it's a very small team. So we're all trying to work together and output as much as each other in some sense, or in whatever capacity we're capable of doing. Obviously Steve and Tim have more capability than myself, but when it comes to getting the content together, it can be challenging because Steve is working 19 hours a day, cracking the whip at me. No, it's good. I actually have no complaints at this point in time. This is like our mediation.
Yeah,
right
I when we first started doing Computex together.
Oh,
so have we done three?
Yeah, we've done
three shows. Yeah, so
yeah,
go back 3 years essentially.
Mm.
I was always intrigued a little bit initially as to how it would go because you're living like 3 guys essentially living together for a week thereabouts, traveling, doing all that stuff. And Tim and I are very different personalities. Like, we're essentially business partners and have been for a very long time now. We work closely together and, we spend time as the year where we live together. And we're very, very different personalities. But we have never, like, honestly, Tim and I have never had an issue. Like, we get along just fine. And then you add Balin, who's a little bit different again to probably somewhere. I would put you somewhere between Tim and I, maybe, in terms of, I don't know. Don't know how all that works. Not a psychologist, but it's a third new different personality with different interests, but we all get along like unbelievably well. No, there's been never any issues for a second. And we have a blast over there, a lot of fun. So
I thought that was going to be a real challenge for me, mostly because first of all, I'd never been to, this is the first time, we'll talk about the first trip. I'd never been to Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd never been to a technology expo.
Mm-hmm.
Computex being as big as it is was
full on,
quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then I've never been in a situation where I've had to do like a work trip with 2 other adult men who are very competent, know what they're doing. They've done
it. Adult.
Yeah. Well, it's questionable. They've done it a lot. They've done it. How many times have you done Computex and those sorts of things?
I've lost count.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
So joining in on that and obviously wanting to do a good job, not just to make these guys happy, but also so that I can build confidence and be comfortable with, the whole process. That is where I expected there to be like some sort of, I don't know, like testing the waters, a few issues, but all of us just worked really well. And I think now it's at a point where it's really fluid and seamless.
Yeah, it's gotten better every year. Yeah, it's just the thing, you go into it, you work it all out, and you just keep improving it from there. And I think that's what we've done really well. Like the last trip was a huge success, and everyone really knew what they had to do, and it worked really well. So happy with your answer on that one? You don't want to?
I think so.
No amendment.
We'll touch base in like 5 years' time.
All right, got another one here for you, Balin, surprisingly enough. Balin, how long does it take to edit Steve's massive testing videos? So how long are you there grinding away on the Threadripper system for?
Years. No, not too long. A lot of people would probably expect it to be longer than what I'm going to tell you. So first off, before talking about how long it actually takes, I made some notes. I guess changing my initial editing style when I first started, I was like a travel editor. So I did travel videos. I also did some like lifestyle type videos, more entertainment, more like harsh cuts, fast transitions, all that stuff. Changing to Hardware Unboxed styling was a change. So it took me a long time to get used to that, probably like upwards of 6 months before it became natural. So back then, hours, like I would spend an entire day on a regular review or a GPU benchmark. Now though, if I just quickly skim all the types of videos, a regular GPU head-to-head is like 2 to 3 hours. A 50 game benchmark, which is quite long, most of them are like half an hour long, they're about 4 hours work. CPU head-to-head 2 to 3 hours, and then a general review for Steve is about 3 to 4 hours. But for Tim could be up to 6 because some of Tim's monitor reviews are 40 to 45 minutes long. And we start with, upwards of an hour sometimes of A-roll and audio to work with. He's also got upwards of 50 graphs in a lot of those videos. So making sure they're in the right spots can be tough. But yeah, I can realistically get any video done within a day.
Yeah, I'd say the only things that are a struggle, not necessarily for you, but just in terms of time, are the roundup things we do.
Yep.
So like the recent 9070 XT roundup, because you not only have to edit that, but you have to do a whole heap of filming as well. Yeah. And then gigantic wall of motherboards over there.
Yeah.
I think, you spent multiple full days on the B850 thing. We did have headaches there as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
And a lot of it isn't so much you scrubbing through timelines and going absolutely ham. It's actually you sitting there sipping coffee, waiting.
Yeah.
Like warp stabilization's a killer for time.
Pre-rendering graphics, stuff like that.
Yeah. So we're working ways to optimize that with like 2 Threadripper systems. So you can warp stabilize sections of the video and then encode that out to then drop in.
Yeah.
So hopefully future videos won't take as long. But I think people don't realize with, say, the B850 video, just how much compute time is required to get that video, because we have a very, very expensive like filming hardware and stuff like that Balin's mastered, electric sliders and all that stuff, which get you like often 95% of the way there in terms of like the smoothness and everything. But there'll be a little hitch here and there, or just something that you need to warp stabilize. And even then, tiny little minute movements, you can sometimes, depending on how sensitive you are, you can see that. And the warp stabilization just makes it perfect. And we try to make, that content look as good as possible, because a big part of that is getting to see all the motherboards from multiple different angles. So Balin does warp stabilize all of that footage as well, which means basically Adobe Premiere analyzes every single frame and makes minute adjustments to where the frame is positioned, so you get perfectly smooth. If you go watch those videos, you'll see how good all of that looks, rather than just chucking in what you record off the camera. And then you've got to calibrate everything.
That's right. It's funny, actually, on the warp stabilization, in a video maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, there was actually one section of B-roll that had to analyze this data. Because when warp stabilizer fails, that's what comes up. So we genuinely warp stabilize almost every single B-roll shot.
And occasionally there'll be an Adobe Premiere moment where you've applied the warp stabilizer, but it didn't work. But it doesn't give you an error or anything. So we'll upload the video. There'll be 80 clips, and one of them won't be stabilized, and it will be quite a smooth clip. But it's like going from 60 hertz with your mouse movement on Windows to 140 hertz. It's not, you instantly notice it. So if everything was a bit jittery, a bit unsmooth, it wouldn't look as good, but you wouldn't jump out at you. But when you've just watched 40 clips that are warp stabilized, and then one clip that's done on like a $4,000 electric slider that's very smooth, but it's not stabilized,
it's jarring.
It looks like shaky cam in comparison. Whereas if you just looked at that clip on its own, you'd be like, oh, that's really smooth.
It's especially noticeable in quite zoomed shots. So
there's more minute the movement
when
with
we're
the zoom.
filming, like, the VRM on a motherboard or something, see the power stages, we'll just like jump.
Looks like an earthquake.
It's not good. So
that takes a lot of time.
That adds a lot of time. But filming aside all of that, just the edit itself, if we have a stock standard video that you're putting out, when I say stock standard, I mean like something with, like you're just doing a CPU benchmark or something,
update test or something.
That stuff, within half a day we can get that done, but it varies.
All right, this is an interesting question here. I'll read the question first. Could you say something about ad sales and how things work? Don't want to ask specifically, but it felt interesting. I'm curious. And it's a really good question, and it's definitely something that Balin does a lot of. We used to get approached all the time for ad sales and stuff prior to having Balin, and Tim and I just couldn't be bothered doing it, basically. There's a lot involved. Can be quite a painful, frustrating process. I know it's making money, but Tim and I mostly relied on AdSense. We did run some ads prior to having Balin, but it was probably one in every, I don't know, dozen videos, which the viewers probably preferred, so they probably don't love you for that reason.
Sorry, guys.
But they should, because it has allowed us to buy higher end testing equipment and invest more in what we do, and help Tim with monitor testing and all that sort of stuff, and just improve the quality of the content overall, because I can focus more on testing and doing that stuff while, the ads pay for you to edit anyway. So that's just, that's a bit of background there, but to answer the question for us.
So I guess if we just work through like how we get the ad sales happening, usually a company will reach out, they'll establish contact with us, because obviously, our email addresses can be found. So they'll find, their marketing team will find us, they'll send an email out, typically to Steve or Tim, and you guys will forward it to me to take care of it, because you can't be bothered. So that's cool. Once we get those contacts, then we actually have to figure out what they're trying to promote, what they would like us to check out or, advertise. Usually, if we haven't seen the product before, we'll have to do some pretty extensive background checking on it, like what reviews are like, whether there's any bad Reddit forums on the product, anything like that, just to make sure we're not going to start the process with something that's going to turn around and be not a good product for us to advertise. So after we've figured out the product's going to be a good fit for us, we then have to essentially convince the marketing team, because a lot of the marketing teams globally don't understand that we will only do those pre-rolls that you see. We don't do any like paid content, sponsored videos. You would have seen on various other channels across the internet that people essentially get sent a product. They'll make an entire video on that, upload it to their channel. And essentially they may get paid for it, but maybe they just get the product in lieu of the video. We don't do any of that. We only do the pre-roll advertising, which is never really longer than a minute long. Now, a lot of people don't understand that not just for our reputation and integrity and obviously wanting to provide advice for products that we think are good, it just, I don't know, makes it a little less like we're just being paid to be content creators. We're actually being content creators because you're providing valuable information for your niche, not just out there selling products. So once we get there, then that's great. We then discuss kind of what their budget is, whether they would like to go for a total amount of views across the channel, or whether they want just a certain number of integrations, whether it's 1, 5, 10, whatever. I think you would have seen Thermal Grizzly. We work with them throughout the entire year, and every month they get a video or two where we promote their product of the year, essentially. So it can work in both very short form or long form contracts, totally up to them. And then we just get to put in the ad together, send it for approval. Once they approve, we can throw it in a video.
Well, you do a lot of that work, which is why
I do all that. Yeah. I'll do all that work.
So, yeah. Well, you basically make sure you vet them essentially.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, Tim and I then individually vet them.
Yeah.
We've had some long processes on that. Like I remember BetterHelp was
BetterHelp.
one. You landed quite a, and Balin gets sales commission as well. So it's, he gets paid his regular wage and then he's incentivized to do this part of his job because he gets a sales commission, which makes sense if he's doing sales. And so you landed a very lucrative deal with BetterHelp, a long-term lucrative deal, which you were excited about.
Yep.
You thought that it would be okay, but you weren't 100% sure, and you really wanted Tim and I to be okay with it. So Tim and I did more research, and then red flags started to appear, which you were fine with. You weren't upset or anything.
Yeah.
But we had to pass on that opportunity because we didn't think they were fit to promote on the channel. There's been other things like key sellers and stuff like that, very lucrative deals with those guys, which we've passed on for various reasons.
There's a lot of startup agencies as well, so like Kickstarters.
Yeah, a lot of
so many Kickstarters.
Yeah, we just don't do Kickstarters, period, whether they, regardless of who they are or whatever, we, just avoid those because it's a massive unknown. So I think that's where I was going with that. It's just basically it's been difficult, that part of the process. Oh, and then once they are vetted by Tim and myself and we're happy to go ahead with it, then you roughly get the talking points, do a draft, then Tim and I work out if we're happy with that, if we're happy to say that about the product, and and then then you do all the necessary filming and we put it together, and that's how it basically gets from start to finish.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And then some of our partners for Computex and CES now that Tim and I are hopefully doing that from here on out. Typically they're asking for like a total report. So all the videos we produce for their, I guess, sponsoring us to attend the shows, they'd like a report to see the analytics on the videos and stuff. And typically for anyone who's, I guess, a regular advertiser, we'll do reports for them just to keep them up to date and keeps them happy. And it also holds us accountable as well. Make sure we're doing a good job.
All right, Balin, this is another one. Answer carefully. Do you get bored shooting B-roll of 10,000 motherboards and trying to make each one look interesting?
I'm surprised they've counted because I reckon they might be right about 10,000.
It feels like it on my end too.
I bet. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I get bored, but you've probably noticed if you've watched any of the roundups, I have pretty much just like a cheat sheet of shots that I'd like to get for each board, mostly because it keeps consistency across the lineup. So you get to see most of the boards from the same angles, the same lighting, I guess set up the same way. So it can get a bit repetitive. Having said that, most of the roundup videos we work on for months. So I'll just do a few boards here and there, do 4 or 5 at a time. Next week I'll do another 4 or 5. And then hopefully by the time the video's being put out, all the boards are done.
Yeah, I remember there was one point during we were probably in the middle of the B850 thing. Now, like I've said 1,000 times on the channel, I question my sanity doing it because it's highly repetitive and I was pretty well over it. Part of the testing I really enjoy and it's interesting, and then, sometimes it gets a bit boring. And I think you're over here and you're like, oh, another B850 board. I'm so over filming this. I'm like, do you want to swap?
Yeah,
You can set them
exactly.
up and test it, and you're like, nah, I'm good filming.
Yeah, because I think we've answered this similar question before, maybe at a show or something. It takes like an hour for each board to film, set up, lighting, unpackaging, repackaging, all that stuff. For you, how long does it take to test one board?
I can usually, especially if I have the 2 test system method we've gone through, I can do anywhere from 2 to 4 a day, because it really does depend on if I run into problems with the boards, if they're not behaving correctly, if there's a power limit, can I remove the power limit? Bit of faffing around there. And then, if it's not behaving correctly, why is it not behaving correctly? Is there an issue with the BIOS? And then I have to fire off emails, wait for responses. They have to do internal testing. And then, either I'll just put that board aside, or I'll think, I don't want to dismantle this. I've got all the thermal probes and everything in the right place. I'll just put that one aside. So I'm down a system now, continue with one. So it's something I just try to do in the background while we're doing other testing as well.
Yeah.
But the testing for that one was done over a period of about 3 months, I think, maybe 4. It was quite a while. Yeah. Fun. All right, well, we've talked about filming B-roll. We've talked about editing time for various different videos. We have a similar question here, though a bit different. It's from Discord. They ask, whose videos do you find easier to edit? If I'd have to guess, on average, Tim, as he has more talking head videos. Oh, okay.
That's interesting. So Tim's are significantly harder to edit, actually, mostly because the monitor testing, all of the graphs, the APL charts, the charts.
There's a lot, right?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and they can be, like, the headings can be slightly different, but they are actually showing a completely different result. So potentially getting them around the wrong way. When I was initially editing Tim's videos, there was a lot of back and forth, sending edits to Tim for proofing, coming back with feedback, having to change graphs out, because that was the hardest part. When it comes to Steve's videos,
it's more formulaic.
It's very formulaic. Yeah. So Tim's would be harder to edit. And also on the talking head type videos where he does news updates, maybe he does GPU pricing updates. A lot of those videos he actually edits because he can do them relatively quickly.
Yeah, he's like, these are easy. I'll take these. And then he says, he's a 40-minute review. That's a nightmare. Balin, I need you to...
Yeah, so he'll do a lot of the talking head videos. So I don't see a lot of those coming through my end. But yeah, the monitor reviews do take a bit longer and are a bit more difficult to get right the first time than Steve's.
All right, we've skipped a couple of questions here because they're all like, about editing and stuff that we've already covered in other questions. So we'll skip those. If you asked an editing question, we've probably already answered a similar question. So I'll come down. This one, I don't know how this got in here. I don't know if it was aimed at you or not, but it's something you're probably somewhat interested in anyway because you like cars and stuff. So the question is, have you ever been tempted to build a motion rig for flight or racing simulation? So I'll hand it over to you. Have you ever been...
I've definitely really thought about it. Admittedly, the space requirement is a big deal. So if you don't have a spare room in your house, you pretty much can't do it unless you're willing to dedicate your office space or wherever you game to be the motion rig. A lot of the decent high-end motion rigs take up so much room. So that's a reason I haven't gone down that path. But I would really love one day, hopefully, to do like a MotoGP simulator. I love my bikes.
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. So I don't know, I actually haven't done any research. I have no idea.
It has to be a thing though, right?
You'd assume so. I can't imagine, Valentino Rossi's getting around on a normal driving simulator. I'm sure he's on a MotoGP sim. So that would be awesome. But car rig would also be cool. You just need space and money.
So you need to get an extension on your house where there's no room to do that. So you're going to buy the property next door. Then use that as that's your VR house. So this is the YouTuber thing coming back into play. Interesting question because it's something I think if you had have asked me a year ago, I was probably relatively uninterested because it does seem like a very cool thing, but then probably something I wouldn't use to justify the expense and whatnot and also the space. But we've recently done some extensions around here. We have more space and my shed, which was previously full of stuff. Some of you guys will be familiar with the Hardware Unboxed shed where all my power tools and stuff are. There's a lot more free space in there. So my big infrared sauna, for example, that's now in the gym, which we'll probably talk about soon. But I've got quite a big area now where I could do something like that. And you guys may or may not be familiar with the Limitless VR YouTube channel. So I got in contact with him not that long ago, probably a year ago now, because he was trying to buy a 5090 for VR testing. This is a fellow Aussie, couldn't get one, asked if he could borrow one of mine, and I'm always happy to help out the fellow Aussie YouTube channel. So I ended up shipping him one of mine, and he's still got that and uses it, and he's been done. I said to him basically, use as long as you need, pump out a ton of content. And yeah, he's been doing that, and go check it out basically. But I was talking to him about collaborating, which we could do maybe sometime next year, midway through next year, maybe just after Computex, about building like a custom motion simulation rig type thing down in my shed, which he was very excited about and was very much up for. So that could be something we do on the channel. Well, I'd say in the not too distant future, but it's probably going to be realistically about a year from now.
I mean, there's a lot of organising that would go into something like that.
A lot of things, and we also have a lot of other stuff to get out of the way and do. It could happen before then. I'm not saying it won't, but that would be the realistic time frame, I would say, because I think we're going to be pretty busy between now and then. Anyway, having watched having talked to him a lot about it, and seeing the stuff he's been doing over on his channel, it looks amazing, super exciting stuff, and I could definitely see myself wasting some time. I mean, spending some valuable time,
of course,
on doing.
What sort of games would you play on it? Would you go like
I think
the arcade
everything.
style,
Well,
or would you go like proper race, like a Assetto Corsa or something?
I like the racing stuff, obviously. Just like yourself, I'm sort of into the cars as well. I used to do a lot of track day stuff, which I don't do anymore. So it'd be good to get back into that in the simulator, which is a lot more cost effective, let's say.
Yeah. And safer.
But he's done stuff like playing Mech Warrior and that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and that looks like crazy good fun as well.
Yeah.
So I know it all looks good. Honestly, I think I would dabble, do a bit of everything.
Playing Fortnite in the, in the motion sim.
Not everything. Not everything. All right. I knew this would be in here somewhere, and my back's a bit stiff. I think maybe I'll get a resistance band and do some stretches and
get
whatnot.
like a massage gun in there.
Yeah, I need to do something for this question because I feel like it could be sitting here for a while. So here we go. Balin,
yes.
What's your split in the gym? So apparently that means a thing. And what are your PRs? So bench, squat, deadlift. All right, I'm just going to put my phone down and start.
Do you want to take a snooze?
Have
a nap.
Yeah.
I'll wake you up when we're done. Okay, so this is a great question. Not relevant to hardware at all. And I don't know, maybe someone will enjoy listening to this. But I guess if we go back about 8 years for me, I started getting into health and fitness. I was a outdoor worker, so it was, really important for me to stay fit and healthy, and I pursued that avenue for a little while. So I have a fair bit of experience with not just being in the gym, but that industry in general. I guess the second part of this question, I'll answer the first part of the question. But the second part, where it asks what your PRs are, I actually don't really like that this question's asked so frequently, mostly because it's kind of irrelevant to other people, because it doesn't really indicate what your potential is. Even if we weigh the same height, same intensity that we go for in the gym, doesn't really represent your potential, my potential, or anything else. So it's kind of irrelevant. And
are you saying it depends?
It depends.
You have to use that term.
It depends. All right.
It depends.
You're not wearing
I'm not wearing it, but it depends.
Neither am I.
You're saying cause ain't cause.
Pretty much. Cause ain't cause.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're bringing it back to the channel.
If we can do that, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I'll give numbers out shortly. Prior to doing so, obviously this is not any health and fitness advice, and definitely don't take what I say as anything you could implement into your own life.
You tell me ways to listen to you.
I'm not a health professional.
Hang on.
Okay. So I'm 178 centimeters, which in feet and inches is 5'10". Didn't quite hit the 6 foot mark. Big sad. At the time that I achieved these numbers, I was 82 kilograms, which in pounds, 2.2 times that. Can you quick math?
No. What did you say?
We're going to say 190 pounds.
Did you say 82?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say about 185, 190 pounds, something like that.
It's in the ballpark.
Yep. So I trained 5 days a week. I did a push-pull legs split. So if you're asking this question, you would know what that is. But for people who don't, it's essentially a chest and shoulders day and triceps, a back, biceps, and anything on the backside of your body day, and then a legs specific day. So that was 2 sessions of each of those a week, and then 1 day of abs and core and cardio. So that was my 5 days a week. I tracked all of this on the bodybuilding.com app. Anyone who doesn't use that, I recommend using it. Very good app.
I'll start using it.
Yeah, good. It's free and it's really good. So my priorities training were essentially just overall health and fitness. I wasn't looking to become a bodybuilder. I wasn't looking to become like jacked, if that's the word. I haven't used any peptide steroids or anything like that, just natural forever. Deadlift this period of time, which was a few years ago. I haven't been training consistently for a few years, but back then I was. My deadlift.
You have to prove all this afterwards.
Yeah.
Look at the B-roll.
Yeah. Okay, so my 1 rep max for deadlift was 215 kilograms, which is 475 pounds. And I was doing 8 to 10 reps of 180 kilograms, which is about 400 pounds. Bench press was 142.5 kilograms, which equals 315-ish pounds, and a working set of 120 kilograms, which is 265 pounds. The squat was 207.5 kilograms, which is 457 pounds, and a 170 kilogram working set, which is 375 pounds. So that was when I was at my strongest. Definitely not doing those numbers anymore because it's not a massive priority for me. Also, wear and tear on the joints. Don't highly recommend doing that.
Yep.
So
I can definitely recommend that because what am I, 15 years older than you?
Yep.
Yeah. 15 years, you're going to be loving it.
Yeah, I can imagine. So so Steve recently built the gym on the back of the studio here, which is awesome. It's good for his family, but also
you helped
use
build it.
Is, right? Yeah, I guess I
so
did
we
help
built it. You can say we built it.
Okay, we built it. Yeah, that's been really good. It's good. Steve's doing a bit more exercise, keeping himself limber.
Yeah,
I
got
guess
to now.
You sit so often at your desk. It's good to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's great for me as well. I get to actually stay fit and active because once I transitioned to this job, it was a stark contrast for me. I went from being on my feet, being quite physical for upwards of 10 hours a day to quite literally doing nothing for 10 hours a day.
I've ruined him.
Yeah.
He used to be fit and healthy.
So, yeah.
We've got another one. We brought him over.
So that answers your question. But like I said at the start, I don't think numbers are relevant at all. And I'm merely just answering the question. Maybe there's more potential for me in the future, but I can't see myself working up to those numbers again because it's just too much wear and tear. And you should just do it because you enjoy it, not because you want to beat someone else.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, last question here. So I'll wrap this up. And it actually says, please tell me if you guys can test out shorter Q&A format. I don't know how long this one's been, but anyway, like where you answer all questions, but without dragging them out too much. Okay. I would watch them much more and completely if they were shorter. I don't know. Do we drag them out? I feel like we just have a bit of a back and forth conversation, and because none of it's like we get the questions, we might make a couple of notes, but it's not really pre-planned. We just have a conversation about it, and we're not like, oh, keep talking. We got to, the voice recorder says we're only going for 10 minutes. We need to.
Yep.
Tim and I usually just go back and forth, and if we run out of things to say or we're over it, we just go, yeah, and then we move on to the next question.
Yeah.
So it's not something we really drag out, and we don't really want to drag this one out anyway because we've gone through a heap of questions. Balin's answered a ton of questions and give some insight into what he does and all that, and he just talked about the gym and stuff, and we're actually planning on going in the gym. Well, we'll probably do a quick scrub through on the edit on this.
Yeah.
And then Balin wants to do like an hour workout, and I'm trying to get fitter and healthier. So I've been using the gym, and I've been going really well, except I'll have like a good week's workout, and then, I don't know, my neck will go or something. I have to go see the physio, and then my shoulder gets sore, and I have an ongoing shoulder problem. I used to play a lot of sport when I was younger, and I was fit and healthy. What? And,
sorry, I know where you're going with this.
And I used to play inline hockey, which is like ice hockey, but for Australians because it's really hot here. It was actually developed by Canadians.
Oh, was it?
I think so because they used to play ice hockey, and then in summer when the ice melted, they invented rollerblades.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, wiki this. I could be making it up, and I'm pretty sure it was invented by them, and then it sort of got exported to countries like Australia,
Okay.
where we don't really have many ice rinks because it's like 40 degrees half the time. So anyway, I started playing that sport, and in my 20s, I ran into a guy that weighed 140 kilos.
Oof.
I was going at top speed. He was going at top speed. We were going for the puck in the center of the rink. We hit shoulder to shoulder, and I just heard like a... And for the next 15 years, I had to manage my back pain, but I got there in the end, and now it's good. But I stopped sport and working out because of how bad my back was. And I saw quite a few different people, couldn't get it solved. So I think actually, as I met you, I got on top of the back thing, didn't I?
Yeah, you did actually.
Can't credit you with it.
No, definitely not. It's quite funny when I was working for you prior to being part of Hardware Unboxed. You actually went down with your bad back at the time.
Oh man, that was horrific.
From that period, it's gotten significantly better.
Yeah, I went and saw a few different people, got a few different things done to it. Some weird things I didn't really expect, but wizardry treatment, and it helped a lot. And so I got to the point where my back is now actually really strong. I've not had any problems at all. So that's good. Started doing a lot of bench press and stuff. Probably got into it because I'm pretty gung-ho with things. I really get into it and go a bit over the top, and I was pushing myself a fair bit. And I developed a bit of a shoulder problem, which we've now been working on fixing that. And that's been getting better. And I've changed the way I do the bench press as well. Because I've been using the Smith bar, right?
Yeah.
Instead of doing it, what would you call it? Just like a free weight?
Yeah.
The traditional bench press?
Yeah, just a barbell. Instead of using that, use a Smith machine.
And that's helped with my shoulder heaps, stabilized it a lot, and I'm working my way back up with no pain or issues. But then I started doing a heap of rowing for my back as well, and I hurt my neck. Anyway, got that. It wasn't a major thing. It was just a pulled spasm muscle. So that's been a fun grind. But I think it was just because I hadn't done anything for so long, and I was warming up and doing everything fairly correctly, but I probably do it a bit too much.
I think too, because you're like getting back into well, I wasn't going to say it. Because you're getting back into weightlifting for first time in 15 years odd.
Yeah.
Form and technique is so important, and it's really easy to do things the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it only takes 1 or 2 sessions of doing something incorrectly with a bit too much strain to like really throw something out. Yeah,
that's definitely what's happened. Bit of a novice. So working on that, but found it to be a lot of fun. And like I said, we'll jump in there shortly, and hopefully I can do a bit more work and not bust myself up. So I have to sit at the desk benchmarking like this for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's a bit painful. But and actually one thing that you hadn't mentioned on, at least directly, because a lot of people have been asking, was about your car. You finally got your car.
Oh, that's a story. Yeah. So I'll briefly touch on that. Yeah. We're wrapping this up, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I got my car back, which is insane because it's been 8 months. It was actually 8 months pretty much on the dot.
Yeah, well, for people who don't know, Balin he wanted to buy a nice car that he could, enjoy and whatever, that was kind of a fun car that was practical.
Still practical.
And you landed on a Volkswagen Arteon, relatively new model, low case, really cool looking like sedan type car, because you didn't want a hot hatch or anything. You needed room for
I
things
wanted
as
room.
well.
I like to go away on weekends occasionally, so being able to put everything in the car.
And you could get this at a really good price in Australia compared to other cars. Really classy, luxury type car. So you got that, really happy with it. You sort of pride and joy. And you'd had it for, 6 to 12 months? Somewhere in that range, or was it longer?
Yeah, no, about a year.
About a year,
And during that period, we tuned it and got some
exhaust
done.
Sounds nice.
A few, mods.
So it's like, it's a type R1 or something, or R-type or whatever. It does 0 to 105 seconds, which is pretty nippy for a big sedan, 4-cylinder turbo. And tuned, it's like more, I don't know, it's 4 seconds?
4.4.
4.4.
Is what I'm supposed to be able to do.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty nippy car, not the fastest thing in the world, but for what it is, really good fun, handles well. So the point is, Balin loved it. Pride and joy. Yeah. Loved his Arteon, keeps it mint, does all the buffing and polishing, and
I actually polish it like once a month.
Yeah, it's always shiny. It looks good. Cleans it head to toe, if that's a thing in a car.
It is. Yeah.
Wheel to roof. I don't know. And you took it to the city last year for Christmas shopping with your girlfriend.
I actually went to a small function for 2 hours.
Okay.
I was parked in a secure Wilson car parking lot.
Wilson
car park. Yeah. So anyone in Australia knows Wilson car parks. Supposed to be secure. It was 1 floor below ground. So you literally drive down 1 ramp, go around a corner. I was parked there. It was there for 2 hours during summer, so it's still daylight. 7:30 at night till 9:30. Came back to the car, completely vandalized, back windows smashed in, the roof had been damaged, they'd hit it with a crowbar or a bat, something like that. The door was all damaged from the broken glass, just scratched all the paint. They had to repair 2 doors, the roof, the hood lining on the interior. The rear seats were full of glass, so gave me new seats. That was cool. New windows, obviously, door trim, the works. But it took 8 months.
So you had a hire car. You had a Kia?
Kia Sportage.
Yeah.
Pretty decent car for a hire car. I was stoked. It was really awesome. But yeah, I was promised about 3 months at most because the parts were being made specifically because the car's not produced anymore. They had to do a run in Germany of the parts for the car. And that was going to take a couple of months plus shipping for a month. 3 months, they should be able to get it done. But it was 8 months, and it got to the point where insurance weren't really willing to cover the hire car anymore, which arguably is not fair on my end, but I can also understand because it was about $20,000 of hire car costs, let alone the repair costs on the car. So thankfully I had insurance. If you don't have full comp, get full comp. And yeah, I've got it back now.
It's funny because people usually say don't buy like a German car or whatever in Australia, like a Volkswagen, because of that reason.
Yeah.
Except it's been nonsense because I've had 5 Volkswagens and I've really had nothing go wrong with them. But when they have getting the part or whatever, it's been a complete non-issue and it's been replaced quickly and no dramas. But I've always bought, your run-of-the-mill, Passat or whatever. I think we had a Jetta, then we had a Highline Passat, then we had the All-Track Passat. So we've had like the cars that are dime a dozen, like there's heaps of them, but you were drawn to the Arteon because it's such a classy looking car, but it's also highly unique.
It's very unique.
Just wasn't popular.
You never see them.
Never see them, but they look amazing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why Balin got it. But then the obvious, which you didn't foresee happening, is you buy a really unique car that people don't have many of, and getting parts actually is difficult when it's a unique car like that. But if you bought a Golf, no dramas. There's parts everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I think also like because it's built on the MQB platform, if it was engine part or something internal, easy replacement.
Yeah,
that's because it was cosmetic.
It was a unique chassis part that was unique to that Arteon.
Yeah.
So
that was a bummer, but it's back now.
Got it back.
Loving it.
All exciting. He's happy he's got his car. So that's good news. So I've been talking about this a lot on the Hardware Unboxed podcast. If you guys don't know about the Hardware Unboxed podcast, type in the Hardware Unboxed podcast. You'll find Tim and I and other people. We had Daniel Owen on a few weeks ago, which was great. Tim had a chat with him. Awesome
Simon
guy.
From TFT Central.
Simon's a regular, at least once a year anyway, regular. So that's regular in the podcast world. But anyway, so what was the question? Please let me know if you guys can test out a shorter Q&A format. Yes, I think that's probably a no on that one.
It's hard when you have free-flowing conversation.
Yeah, it's good fun. If you don't like it, that's fine. We've got timestamps. You can skip through it, and I don't know, if you don't want to watch it at all, that's also an option.
Yep.
I don't put a gun to anyone's head. Do I, Balin? So anyway, but yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for coming on.
I'll neither confirm nor deny that previous statement.
Probably for the best, given our strict gun laws.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tim will be back next time. But if you guys really enjoyed having Balin on, we'll try and, I don't know, at least a year. When Tim goes on his European holidays, we'll get
sounds good.
At least once a year, I'd reckon. All right. Well, join Button Patreon if you guys want to become Hardware Unboxed members. You can talk to Balin in Discord. Tell him how garbage you think Arteons are.
It's fine by me.
He'll love that.
It'll still beat your car.
You've opened a horn. Anyway, that's it. I'm your host, Steve.
I'm your second host, Balin. For the first time ever.
See you next time.
See you next time.